Hi, welcome to our gathering group information session. My name is Peg Peters.
And I'm Heather.
And we just want to welcome you to this session. Now, what we're going to do, it's going to be about 20 minutes long. We're going to overview a little bit about what Gathering Groups is all about, who we are, how we founded this organization, and a little bit about our unique model of how we use group work with a plant medicine retreat to help you transform your life. We're really excited to have you along on this journey, and hopefully we can answer some of the questions. I'll just start by introducing myself. My name is Peg, as I said before, and I'm one of the co-founders of Gathering with my wife, Heather. For me, I've been married 32 years. We've raised 4 daughters. And my background is really from the nonprofit world, really building communities. Worked for 15 years in East Africa, in Ethiopia, in a nonprofit called Run for Water that I was really proud of, empowering women with access to clean water and education. I've been involved in a lot of spiritual communities. I've taught university, and I've been a former pastor where I really tried to help people connect with their true self. And so for me, my life really changed about 5, 6 years ago when I encountered psilocybin for the first time. And I began to recognize that this incredible molecule, this psilocybin molecule found in psychedelic mushrooms, has the potential to transform people's lives. Psilocybin has been used for thousands of years in indigenous communities for healing and transformation, but it wasn't until the 1960s that it really started to be studied at places like Harvard University. And as they began to study it in those first early years, psychologists were so excited because here was a molecule that, when taken in a safe set and setting, could transform people. Incredibly, transformation could happen. They were using it for sleep disorders, for anxiety disorders, for PTSD, for depression, for postpartum, for alcohol use disorders. All of these things that held promise, that one dose of psilocybin in the right set and setting in a safe container could transform people's lives. And when I began to hear that research, I got really excited. But sadly, in the 1970s, the war on drugs broke out, and all of that research got suppressed and silenced, and all of the research was halted for 50 years. And it wasn't until just the early 2000s that Johns Hopkins University began to resurrect this research and recognize, listen, we have an opportunity to explore this molecule and be able to have a completely different way of working with mental health disorders for the first time in the 20th century. And this is the incredible renaissance that we're currently in right now, is an explosion of research with psychedelic medicines to be able to help people transform their lives. So we want to talk about our unique model of how we use group containers to keep people safe and give you a retreat experience that can help you find connection to yourself so you can transform your own life.
Mhm. All right, I'll talk a little bit about who I am. I married to Peg for going on 33 years, and we've got 4 grown daughters, as he said. I've spent my career in the classroom. I'm an elementary school teacher, so I've worked a lot with small groups of kids and helping them get regulated, helping them come into the school building and feel safe and feel heard and feel seen. Learning takes place when people are regulated, and so I've brought that piece into gathering. I'm also a registered clinical counselor, which I got my master's about, in 2013, I guess, and also a doula, which has been very useful in this space. For me, what first gave me the idea that psychedelics were not bad was when our 16-year-old daughter came home and she said that she had had a transformative experience that she wanted to tell us about, and she didn't want us to be mad. And so she told us that she had had a mushroom journey. And when she unpacked what happened for her on her journey, it blew my mind.
Mm.
And for the first time, I was able to see the importance
Mm.
of what an altered state experience can bring to somebody's life, that their own inner wisdom comes to the forefront and they're able to make sense of pieces that haven't made sense to them before. And her relationship towards herself, her relationship towards others, her relationship with the divine. She came home and said she met the divine,
Mm.
and that changed things for me, the way I thought of psychedelics. And then the other key piece for me was that Peg wanted to have his journey, and that was kind of hard for me because he had had this intellectual interest in psilocybin, but I didn't realize he wanted to have a personal experience, and that pushed me to another new level of going, okay, so we're going to do this. But when he had his journey, what changed in our marriage was incredible to me. And there were little bits and pieces that were subtle little shifts. It wasn't like he changed who he was, but the relationship, the way he saw me, I felt really, really seen by him. I felt like I was so much more of a priority. And the subtle shifts in the way he was relating to himself, his self-talk, all sorts of things were starting to change and shift. And so a short time later, after he had his journey, I had mine. And for me, the main piece that I came out of was I had such a huge reduction in my anxiety. I didn't even really know how much power my anxiety had over my daily life. But when I look back at the transformation from my before mushrooms experience of life and my after, is just incredible how much my life has changed. Yeah.
We've got a really cool team that is surrounding us. We've got incredible facilitators, clinical counselors, therapists, physicians, and psychiatrists that are part of our program as we build out this really beautiful group model. And we have this. So we'll send this presentation to you after. You can deep dive in this, or you can check our website out and find some of our facilitators that are on our team. So this is a little bit about what our transformational group model is. So our model is really based upon a 2-night retreat that we do out at our retreat center here out in the Fraser Valley. We have a beautiful farm out here. It's an opportunity to get away from your life and really focus on yourself for this 3 days, 2 nights experience. And for us, what we do is we've recognized that we really need to kind of prepare people for this retreat. So we work hard at putting you in a group with 6 to 8 other individuals, with 2 facilitators online for 8 weeks prior to the retreat experience. This allows you to get to know these people, feel really safe and comfortable, so that you are excited to see these people at the retreat, and so that you as a team can transform together. And so we bring the best of Western science-backed ideas and theories from psychology and nursing, and we bring that in, we mix that in a beautiful way with Indigenous teachings. And so we have an Indigenous elder, a somatic therapist that comes and does some of our teaching online for us. And it really helps us ground into some of these ancient ways of working with plants. Plants are teachers. And as human beings, we have evolved alongside of these plants. And so we are learning how to work with psilocybin mushrooms at the retreat level. And so we've spent 8 weeks preparing, have a 2-night retreat, and then we spend 4 weeks integrating that after. And we're really excited because our group model is also eligible for those of you who have extended medical health benefits. You can get about 80% of this program covered. So we're really excited about that.
We've already actually kind of covered this slide, but one of the things that we offer is when your group ends, that's not the end of your journey for you. You can stay connected in drop-in groups. There are alumni groups. There are all sorts of targeted specific groups that we have. And you've formed a community. It isn't just you with a therapist. It is you with 6 to 8 other human beings that are taking this journey alongside you. And the bonds that are formed by being open and honest and transparent with each other on the online for the 8 weeks in preparation, and then the in-person retreat, you have a lifetime of support with these people that have come around alongside with you, as well as things like drop-in groups where you can continue to stay connected.
We're really excited because our model has been selected as to be studied by Health Canada. And so we are working with organizations like TheraSil and MAPS Canada to be able to look at this group model with PTSD with first responders. And what we've discovered in our own data, we've been running groups for the past 2-3 years. We've run about 30 plus groups already. We've got some data from an outside source that have shown that 94% of people that have come into our program with kind of anxiety disorders no longer felt anxiety after completing the 12-week program. I mean, that's astounding, right? 100% of people surveyed through our program would say that this program was incredibly helpful and important in their own healing journey. Everyone says this process is so powerful and so important for them. And 71% of people coming in with clinical depression. I mean, these are sometimes treatment-resistant depression. People that have been in therapy for years, locked away in kind of just a sense that they're not enough. They just don't have this sense of peace and connection in their life. They're finding that going through this program, 71% no longer are depressed after they go through this 12-week program. There's nothing else that can really touch, kind of get the results that psilocybin is getting in research trials around the world. There's 121 universities currently doing research on psilocybin right now. This is right on the edge of making a breakthrough in our world in the next 10 years. And we're right on the front edge offering this model to the public. Tell us a little bit about our facilitators.
Yeah, so all of them have had training and are trauma informed. They lead the groups in the model by participating also themselves. So our facilitators are not only just pressing the buttons, they are participating in the group. They're answering all the same questions. They're leading with open hearts, with their own authenticity and transparency. So they are doing their own work alongside of the
Mm,
people in the group, which is really nice. It's not a hierarchical model at all. It is all people are participants.
mm.
Every group does include a registered clinical counselor, and so like Peg said, if you've got extended medical, you'll potentially be able to get coverage for that. And all of them have had training in assisting as space holders during psychedelic journeys.
This is a model that is really proven. Like this isn't just something that we're like, we hope it works, you know.
Mhm.
Our clinical team was trained at the Vancouver Island University with an organization called Roots to Thrive. They were using ketamine program in 2020. And we began to get that training and then started using psilocybin in the same kind of model. And we saw the results are just incredible. That's why have been selected to work with Health Canada to really show the power of putting people in groups,
Mhm.
because when we're in a group, we actually have the ability to feel seen and known by others. And that seems to be really important when working with psilocybin, that your nervous system, your sense of safety is really vital so that you feel safe and connected with a group of people that you're going to go on this journey with. So that's kind of our background of where we got connection from Roots to Thrive. And then maybe we'll walk through our three values that we have.
Right. So we have three values. Our first value is that we honor safety. And so, obviously, in order to enter into a situation like this, you want to feel really, really safe. And that's important to us. The results are so much better when you feel safe. And so, that is key. Um, we do an intake process with a registered nurse as well as a therapist. And so, any of the things that you filled out on your intake form that we feel like we need a little more clarification with, we'll talk with you about that and decide together with you if a group is the right fit for you at this time in your life. As I said, our practitioners are all trauma informed. We have somatic specialists also as part of our team, as well as nurses. And the preparation for 8 weeks before you have your psilocybin journey is key. And there's a lot of talk out there about integration, having a journey and then making sure to integrate it. And we value integration, it's very, very important. But what we have found is for the safety of people going through this, they feel most calm, regulated, and ready for a psilocybin journey when they've been well prepared. And so we spend those 8 weeks preparing so that you can come into your journey feeling as safe as you can possibly feel.
Our second value is we honor spirit. And this is a little controversial, right? To be able to put this up front as one of our values. And yet, as we work with our Indigenous brothers and sisters around this work, and we honor the history and legacy, how Indigenous communities have used these medicines, they keep reflecting back to us and say, you have to honor that this is spiritual work as well as is it psychological and mental health based. It's also spiritual work. It's not religious, but it's deeply spiritual. And
Mhm.
so we are really open to the fact that part of this is expanding yourself. You're expanding your
Mhm.
capacity to connect with something larger than yourself. Might be nature, could be whatever. But this process is about connecting with yourself, your interior parts, really finding that peace, about connecting with others, and about connecting with something larger. And so for us, we just honor that this work is deeply spiritual work. And so and you can put any name to that you want,
Mhm.
but we want to honor the fact that this is a really important value to us.
And then our third value is we honor community. Again, that's why we have 12 weeks together as a community because we're building and creating this safe container for you to feel the most at ease during your journey. The in-person psilocybin journey is together with your group, these people that you've come to know and trust and even love. And people show up after their 8 weeks, meeting each other for the first time in person, and they feel love for one another. And that brings safety and it has this sense of community. And again, we have a lifetime alumni community support that you can tap back into at
So
any,
powerful.
yeah, at any time that you feel like you need that support.
Mm. We'll send this presentation as a follow-up for you. So if you're getting this, you'll get an attachment and you'll be able to go through this at your own pace. But I just invite you to watch these two 1 minute little stories about people who've been transformed by going through a gathering group process. Lori Brooks, a friend of ours, was part of a film that we produced at Gathering. I was executive producer of a film called Dosed: Trip of a Lifetime. It's been seen in over 100 countries now. It's a story of Lori Brooks, who was given a diagnosis of cancer and allowed us to film her story about dealing with the fears of end of life and finding the psilocybin experience such a transformative process for her, letting go of those fears and really finding the ability to live her best life even with the diagnosis of cancer. And this is really what resilience is, isn't it? If Lori can live her best life and she knows she's going to die of cancer, then all of us can learn how to live our best life no matter what we're facing. And
Mhm.
so I think this film and her story is a really important part of opening up access to these kind of healing medicines. We have a number of frequently asked questions that we can kind of go through on your own pace, but we really hope that this presentation was helpful in answering some of the questions that you have, so that you can make a really informed decision about participating in this in kind of incredible transformative group process. If you are dealing with sleep issues, anxiety, fear, trauma, depression, if you're just not feeling like yourself, if you really want to grow spiritually, if any of those kind of questions connect with you, then check out gathering groups and our process. We're really proud of how we have built this model, and we want to offer it to you. And hopefully, we can see you in a group. We launch 2 or 3 groups a month, so sign up today. You can sign up for free, and then you will get on our mailing list for when groups are coming available. So I invite you to do that. Go to gatheringgroups.ca today and sign up now so you can get on our list for the groups that are coming up. And we're excited to meet you in our gathering group program. Thanks a
Mhm.
lot for taking the time to watch this.